Welcome to Bad Idea Metals. I'm Anthony, and I got a truckload. I picked this up today. Let's take a quicker look at some of this. It's nothing too fancy, I guess. A little bit of, I don't know, some stuff from like 2010, 2015. I got two servers that I really want to look at here with you guys. And one of them's right here on top, and the other one's also up on top, I guess. It's just pushed over. So we're gonna dig these out and we're gonna open up one of them today. Let's get started. All right, well, we got it in place right over here by our strawberries. Oh, I'm out of breath. Sorry about that. Oh, hey, Watson. Well, I took the power supplies out to help lighten the load to get it over here. They're not terribly heavy. What's up? What's up, dude? All right, well, I'm gonna keep moving. I think in general, these are only a few pounds each, but 500 watt power supply, 750 at 200 volt. Oh, we got our assistant manager on job here. We got a compact Proliant system here. It's a 6500. I don't know too many of the specs or its age, but one thing that I have a feeling of here, first of all, compact hasn't been a company for long enough, but the thing that interests me is that this is a 10K drive. So it's new enough to support a 10K drive, but it's old enough that this is no longer available for purchase. So we're gonna tear this apart today. I see some drives across the front, some air ventilation for the system. It's got what looks like a removable tray for a expansion. Right there, that is a IDE. So that tells me right now that this is an IDE compatible system. Whether that's a SCSI or something else, I'm not sure. It looks a lot like a SCSI connection. But that looks like an IDE ribbon. So this is old enough, probably the same age as like a Pentium 4. So puts it about 23 years old is my guess. So we're gonna look around the back. Yes, there's a lot of snow. I still have snow pretty much everywhere in my yard. And the cat. There's the two bays where the power supplies went. You can see some aluminum there in the back of the power supplies, as well as a few transformers. So I don't have any interest to take these apart today, but they're gonna be pretty standard. So on the back here, we've got a modem, a network card, and what looks like external SCSI, some communications ports, and our PS2 mouse and keyboard. It's a pretty standard system here. I don't see a year on it, but here's the series, ES 1002. I can look all that up and find the year. But just off the top here, here's access to our PCI, AGP, and ISA bays. Okay, let's open up this port right here. And we have access to our fans for our air and heat management. Let's see if we can pull one of these out without putting the camera down. Oh, they got gold fingers on them. That's nice. Look down inside there, pretty basic, nothing too exciting. Okay, I'm gonna grab my tools and mount the camera, and we're gonna tear this apart on the inside and see what kind of fun things Compact used to make the system. All right, where should we start? Let's take this top off. And there we go. Okay, first thing I see are these. Not exactly sure what these are yet. And then the RAM banks, and then the main board just underneath. So let's start liberating things as we can. This is right here. Might as well see what these are first. I'm not exactly sure, but I've seen these in Sun microsystem machines. They've got these nice fingers. I don't see anything specifically gold or silver bearing, but they've got these, they almost look like transformers or Ferris rings here that are often used in data and power signal cleansing. So let's pull a few of these out and see if any of them are different. Oh, apparently some of them are screwed down. These ones have fingers as well. This is a Pentium Xeon 3. So these 4 with knobs look like they're going to be our CPUs. In fact, it says it right there. Pentium 3, or Pentium with 3 exclamation points, Xeon. So we'll take one of these out and we'll take a closer look, which tells me that these are RAM or memory or cache. Or they could be power management for the CPUs here. This is an old way of doing things, and that makes sense that they look a lot like the Sun microsystem stuff, because Sun did the same thing, where it had a number of circuits that supported the CPUs and were not on the circuit boards with the CPUs. So we got 4 of these Xeons with their impressive heat sinks. So we got 4 CPUs. Let's set these off to the side here for a second. We have 4 of these companion cards that go with the CPUs. I don't know their purpose. You can look that up, or if somebody knows in the comments, please feel free to share. But they're pretty cool, pretty simple. So we'll set that off to the side of the CPUs. What should we get next? I want to get this board out. It looks like it'll just come up. And there's our RAM. Let's see what this type of RAM is. EDO RAM. So I'm not positive how to assess the value in scrap on these. This isn't a very common thing for me to tear apart. Older tech, I don't usually get stuff like this. So this is, 1, it's pretty exciting, but 2, it's not something I know a ton about. So we'll get to the bottom of this. There's tons of MLCCs on the back. We got the 3 BGAs that I really like. It's got a number of fingers, let alone all these capacitors. So this is a pretty nice board. If I were to estimate just straight off the top of my head here, this board would be worth about $25 in just the scrap value alone, but it could be worth a lot more than that. I just don't know yet. I have a lot of work to do to get to the bottom of that. So we'll set that off to the side. Okay. This looks to be our controller card for our media. When I say media, I mean our hard drives. What tool am I missing? Let's take this off. Okay, let me bring you guys in closer, because what I'm seeing is kind of cool. So this is what I can see. Right here, this is our PCI. This is our PCI card slot bank. There's looks to be about 7 of them or 6 of them. We've got an old ISA card slot with this this modem in it still. We'll get that one out next, but then we'll turn our attention back to this this backplane card. I'm not sure what this is called. It doesn't look like it's PCI standard. It could be something like AGP, but this card right here, it's got the 2 internal SCSI, as well as it had some SCSI connectors on the back. You got your external SCSI. It also has your communications and your keyboard and mouse. So it looks like this is just a general communication card mixed with a RAID, potentially a RAID card anyway. But it seems to be your storage management, along with maybe a few other things. Inside here, we've got some pretty fun things. There seem to be a lot of these black and yellow tantalum capacitors just about everywhere down here, and that's pretty fun. It'll be fun to scrape all those off. And then here's where the CPUs sat with their companion cards. Again, a lot more of those black and yellow capacitors. But let's go ahead and get these guys out. These 2 cards, this modem and this communications card, and we'll take it from there. All right, well, let's get this guy out. He looks to be a little bit easier than the other one. So those are some ISA fingers on a AT&T communications card. This is our modem. Set that off to the side next to the network card. I don't see what is preventing us from gaining access to this card right off. It's not screwed in. Maybe just my will versus its, I don't know. Well, it's almost up. All the turbulence, there we go. Okay, I probably edited it out just a bit because I was shaking the table pretty hard, so I apologize if you missed something important, but it's finally out. We got some MLCC capacitors back here, all sorts of surface mount stuff, some resistors, but this side's more interesting to me anyway. It's got some chips that I like. It's got the fingers, which are really thin, so this isn't going to be very valuable on the gold recovery here, but it's still a pretty cool card. This might make it in my trophy case instead of in my recycling acids, but pretty fun. Throw that over with some of our cards. Now what should we attack? Okay. Oh, we missed one. Okay. So there's our main board. So a whole bunch of surface mount stuff underneath, but we're gonna leave it mounted on its steel frame for a moment. And we'll get that off some other day. But yeah, that's a server main board. That's pretty cool. I haven't seen MLCCs this color, orange almost, for a long time. That's not even a standard that I know. There's a handful of them throughout the board, so I'm curious what those will house by way of special precious metals and such. Okay. Well, our hard drives are still under here, so we still have more to do, but we're pretty close to the end. There's one backplane board for the power supplies right through here, and let's go ahead and see what we can do to get the hard drives free. All right, look at the fingers on this board. That's pretty cool. This is where the fans for the heat management throughout the chassis were. We got our IMD connector. Here's our IDE. So this is for our optical drive. Miscellaneous, that's probably a SCSI internal. These look like they're SCSI. In fact, that one's labeled SCSI. Oh, there's your SCSI B. So these are SCSI. Not too much else other than pretty big set of fingers and a bunch of surface mount stuff. Okay, we're almost done here. Let's focus in on these drives and the circuitry that holds them in place. I don't want to cast too much of a shadow, so why don't we switch places? I'll have you guys stand right there. I'll stand on this side of you. Okay, so these are just empty. Should just be able to pull them out. They're just placeholders. Make sure the airflow works right. But here's where our drives are. What kind of drives do we have here? Well, it's a SCSI drive. Don't see too much on here that stands out as unique. So it's a 10,000 RPM, 9 gigabyte drive. So not a whole lot to them. They've got some circuitry here that I may chase after eventually, but there's 4 drives in here. Tested 4 gig. Oh, these drives are just barely holding in. Oh, well, there you go. Show you some of the circuitry right here. So this is a SCSI connector, and just a handful of IC chips that do different things, some memory registers, some control and logic processors. You got your motor for the inside platters to spin on, and just circuitry management. So pretty standard, really. Oh, come on. An 18 gig ultra wide. So there's all 4 of the drives. Peel off this black plastic. And this is what we see. It's just a SCSI terminal board, a handful of surface mount stuff. Same on the other side. There's going to be some pins in here that could have some plating on it for gold, but it's not really going to be very, very high. So there's our SCSI board for the hard drives. These are just standard components here. There's our CD-ROM, the back side of it. I don't even think it was new enough to be a DVD. That's a compact disc, so it's CD. It's pretty old. It's a nice heavy piece of steel here. Throw that to the floor. The last thing is that back plane right there. And then the last piece is our power management. So each power supply hooked in, 1 and 2, and then would distribute power throughout the entire unit with these wires here. And there you go. There's nothing really super fancy about this circuit board. So this is the conclusion of the tear apart itself. Let's take a quick moment and look at all the fun things that we've found, and we'll close out the video. All right, that's our fan board. Those pins look so nice, man. The fan board. Oh yeah, our Xeons. We're gonna take that apart. Let's do that in just a second. Man, look at those. Look at those fingers. So cool. We got those companion boards. We've got our SCSI backplane for our devices inside the machine. We have our SCSI outboard, and our communications card. And then we got our bank of RAM. And that's pretty cool right there. And finally our drives. There were a few PCI cards. They're over here, along with all the other stuff that's pretty common. Let's go ahead and take apart one of these Xeons. So we've got ourselves a authentic Pentium Xeon and a cat who's gonna be in the video here in just a second if he's not careful. Let's go ahead and take these off. All right, this looks a lot like a Pentium 2 with the fingers and the processor right there. Let's go ahead and relieve the processor of these clips right here. Okay, now this should just come right up. It's gonna have some, whoops. It's gonna have some thermal paste here. So if we're careful without damaging it too much, we'll get to see what it looks like. There's our heat sink, heat management. There you go. The main die is probably, ooh, it's a guess. If I were to guess, it's this one. And then that might be localized cache memory registers, but I'm not sure. Lots of surface mount, capacitors and other components. But there's our Xeon. Pretty cool. Well, thanks for watching. This was a fun teardown for me. There's a lot of really interesting things here. I'm so excited to refine some of this. Some of these may end up in my trophy case, my trophy box. And yeah, this is a lot of fun to share with you guys today. So I look forward to doing the other server here in just a little bit. Not today. I'm gonna go do some stuff with the family, so just have some fun with them. But this was a lot of fun today. If you've got any questions, comments, or assessments of what I've torn apart today, correct me where I've been wrong, by all means. I don't mind being corrected. I've been exposed to computers and computer components, and I've built my own systems for 20, almost 30 years now. That doesn't mean I know everything. It just means that I've seen a lot of things. And by all means, I definitely call things the wrong thing once in a while too. So if I've said something wrong, you're welcome to correct me. However, I like sharing what I find with you guys. It's just a lot of fun. Well, it's freezing out here. I'm gonna go warm up. I'll see you in the next video. Good night.